I have been thinking a lot about Dungeons and Dragons lately, specifically about when the magic works. I think there is something very beautiful about the stories that we tell after the fact of playing. It doesn't even matter how long after, it could be years afterwards. And you know that it worked. You know that you did a good job when people are saying, remember when we went into that dungeon together? Remember when I had to go down that cavern path alone? Remember the things that we did that were so scary, but we got through it. That shit is the best. For real. Because when it feels like it's something that you did and you're not using words like, my character did this, which is fine, but there's a level of disconnect there. When it feels like you and your friends went on a beautiful adventure and somehow got out unscathed, or maybe just a little scathed, whatever scathed means, I think it means scratched. It's awesome. So I guess I've been thinking a lot about how to make that happen. How to make sure that you come away from the table feeling like, I did that. So that's what this video is about. It's me rambling about D&D. Because I have been playing and running D&D forever. For like 10 plus years. Not 10 plus, almost 10 years. And throughout that whole time, I've gotten to play here and there, but my very first time playing D&D was me running D&D. I had a table of 7 or 8 people, depending on the night. And some of them have played before, some of them have not. And it was a real trial by fire to make that beautiful dream come to life. I remember a lot of my first sessions, I was basing a lot of that on Skyrim. So like the dungeon design was like, there's one singular thing that happens in every room, and a lot of that is crunchy combat. And when you have a party of 6 or 7 to 8 people, it's going to take a lot of time to get through that dungeon. And it's not going to be that fun. But you will have fun moments along the way. Like, I remember I had this weird thing I put in there where there was a portal and there was a hand, a reptilian hand sticking through it, and it was waiting for something, I think. And I vividly remember one of my friends giving it a jar of eggs, I think. I later retconned and made that hand into a slod, because I love slods. I love green slods. There's a character who I've been running as a DM named Gibbleriff, Lord of the Green. And that dude has appeared in so many of my sessions. It's insane. And he has, cloned himself and done weird sorceress toad mage shenanigans. But that's neither here nor there. What I want to tell you about is the fact that I have been running D&D in the same world for a very long time. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. I encourage you to make decisions, bold ones, and to fuck up from time to time. I think you should. I think you should fuck up from time to time. I think it's good to fall. Because if you don't fall for a while, then eventually you'll have a big fall and it'll hurt real bad. Okay, so I have been running D&D in the same world for almost a decade. That world's name is Abroyama, or Yama for short. I don't know what that world name means, to tell you the truth. Don't tell my players that. And if you're watching, you have to forget I said that. But I got that name from a fantasy name generator, that website. It's a wonderful website, and I think you should use it. I clicked on the world name generator, I clicked it, I went through a few options, and I found one that I liked. That's what I did, and it's stuck for a decade. The beautiful thing about running D&D in the same world is that every time you make a new player character with one of your players, they will inevitably have to come up with some kind of backstory. And with that backstory, they will either use the things you've already built into the world, or they will create brand new lore for you to sink in somewhere else. And one of the capital cities of the land that at one time was called Valencia was named by one of my player characters, who said, I know that we're not in like a big city right now, but my character comes from a really big city because they have a thieves guild that they're a part of. And so I pointed to a spot in the map. I said, does that seem like a good spot for it? They nodded. I drew a little diagram of what the city circle would look like, and I wrote the name. And then many sessions later, with a whole different group of people and players, different characters, we eventually went to Valencia and explored what that place was like, and eventually got to explore some of the Thieves Guild elements from another character's backstory that they never got to interact with at the table. Ain't that cool? I think it's cool. You know what else is cool? My shirt. Look at these dogs. Look at these dogs. Ain't that sweet? And my shirt says, be the person your dog thinks you are. Dog fit today. Dog fit. I'm at the park, and there are currently dogs that I can see over there. Pretty cool place to teleport into. Anyway, running D&D is amazing, and one of the things that I love about running D&D in the same world, with sometimes for a while there I had multiple campaigns going on at the same time, and that was awesome and complicated and exhausting, and I recommend that you do it, because sometimes you can have cameos where one campaign overlaps with the other. And even if those players aren't exactly at the same level, you can make it work. Just make it so that you're not dealing with, the 15th level dangers. You're dealing with maybe the 11th level dangers. Every time I have friends who have played D&D together from those two different campaigns, you get them to meet up in person, and they're immediately starting to talk about the time that they played D&D together, where those two different campaigns overlapped, and Dada, the Turtle Cleric, had to give up one of his shields to Duelist Firehoof, the Minotaur Paladin. Those stories stick with us. And I just think that's so damn cool. I can't get enough of D&D. A lot of my games are on hiatus right now, but I have the feeling that the ball is going to start rolling up again soon. The ball is rolling up, if you know, you know, because there's a bee, sorry. Because I am in the process of combing through my old notes and retelling stories to my fellow players that I want to play with again, and I'm re-alighting their imagination and talking about the world. I can just feel the excitement growing. It's very cool. Another cool thing that just happened, I have this list in my phone of every single PC player character that I have run for in that world, so I can kind of keep track of them, And I give each of them a title. And the very first PC I ever DM'd for was my friend. I'm going to leave his name out of it. My friend who played a character who was a wizard, a transmutation wizard, whose name was Tarakov the Charred Magician. And this was almost a decade ago. But I messaged him for the first time in a while to talk about D&D and brought up all these old stories. And we were both just so gosh darn excited about, uh, you know, everything that we had shared together. And what I was asking him about was, what do you think Tarakov is up to now? So we got to talking and swapping stories, and I was informing him about what's happening in the world of Aburayama right now. And we eventually settled on him perhaps becoming one of the masters of magic at the Non-Earth Institute of the Arcane, which is a floating wizard college in the world that a lot of player characters have visited. Because the current transmutation wizard is a very, 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 very old human man named Gilbride MacSwain. Gilbride MacSwain. Yes, he's a hoot and a half. And he's very old. Transmutation wizards have this ability that allows them to smooth over the aging process to make it look like they are less old, but it doesn't physically change them. It just makes their appearance different. So I think he's really old. It's really time for him to go. All right, that's my ramble. That's all you get. I have another video that I'm going to make with my friend Lucas, who has played so many different characters in my D&D world, and there was a moment where all three, actually he's played more than three, but three of his main characters all met at the same time, and that led to Lucas having to pick up different objects to say, I'm talking as this character, and now I'm talking as this character. And that was so damn cool. So get excited. There's more on the way. I love you. I really have to go now. Look at the time. It's queer o'clock. Go do something gay today. Bye bye.